you can graduate with just taking English classes, but I remembered like a friend of mine, she was required to study Japanese because her classes are in Japanese also.
It's just like a regular medical, right?
You can go to a random clinic to take a medical checkup.
Better ask the embassy if you're applying through the embassy or your university. Hello everyone! I'm Jay, a master's student here in Tokyo Institute of Technology.
I'm Rizel, a master's student in the same university, Tokyo Institute of Technology.
And this is another video about your questions regarding the MEXT scholarship program. So for this video, these are just random questions. We have 4 for this one. And the first question is, are classes in Japanese universities in English or Japanese?
So, mostly for international students, you can choose if you want to take English classes or Japanese classes. So English classes are limited, so it would be good if you already know and you can understand Japanese, so you can take Japanese classes, but it is not required. So you can graduate by just taking English classes throughout your master's life or your graduate student life.
Yes, I agree. But take note that not all of the universities have like enough credits to fulfill that are in English. So be careful with that one. So check your university. And also some programs and some scholarship may require students, recipients to take some Japanese classes. So even if you don't want to take any Japanese class, you may be required to take Japanese language classes.
And I remembered that is, at least for Tokyo Tech, you can graduate with just taking English classes. But I remembered like a friend of mine, she was required to study Japanese because her classes are in Japanese also, so it's kind of difficult.
So we're still lucky. Okay, but maybe they prefer that also, so
they were able to learn Japanese.
Yeah, if you also want to do it in Japanese, you're free to do so. Okay, so let's have the second question.
Second question. After graduating from a Japanese university, can you work in Japan?
For at least MEXT scholarship, there's no return service or there's no required things that you need to go home, or you cannot work in Japan or you cannot stay in Japan after graduating. So if your scholarship is MEXT, you're free to do so, to work here.
Yeah, just make sure that you can find a company that will change your visa status to work in before you graduate.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, the third question is, where will the
supplementary Japanese classes be taken? In Japan or in the Philippines?
We're not very sure with this, but this is based on what I read on different like Facebook groups and like forums about my scholarship. This is especially true for undergrad, I think. So for undergrad, it is mostly the case that you will be attending a Japanese language school or Japanese language classes before you take any major or university classes. So those classes will be in Japan. But that is for undergrad at least. But during this COVID, I don't know if they're just doing it online or doing it in their home country. So I'm not really sure this time. But before the pandemic, it's usually here in Japan. You stay here. You do it for usually at least 6 months. Then you go to the university after that.
If by supplementary Japanese classes, if it means also maybe an embassy recommendation for graduate students, for research students, the supplementary Japanese is 4 months, supposed to be 6 months, it's 2 months vacation. So it's like, I was surprised, yeah, never mind. 4 months Japanese language, and it was done in Japan. So based on my experience, I did it in Japan. But yeah, because many things already changed because of the pandemic, so we're not sure about.
Better ask the embassy if you're applying through the embassy or your university or your preferred. They won't have dependent, but your university in case you're applying through university recommendation. Okay. So for the last question for this video, do you need to pay for anything when applying for the scholarship?
For embassy recommendation, as far as I can remember, maybe you only need to submit medical certificate, and in that certificate you need to pay for medical checkup. That is the only thing I can remember that I paid for during the application.
But this is just like a regular medical, right?
You can go to a random clinic to take a medical checkup. Yeah.
So just like 1,000 around that, maybe.
1,000 pesos.
Yeah, 1,000 pesos. Yeah. For university recommendation, the biggest fee will depend on the university. There will be application fees for some university. For example, for Tokyo Tech, the application fee is around 15,000 pesos. So it's quite high. Or for the Philippines, it's really high to risk that. Yeah, so you really have to save, and you have to make sure that you really want it, that you really want that university, and you're sure with everything. Yeah, but if you're privileged, of course you can do whatever you want.
But also, this question is not very specific. So if you were saying you need to pay for anything when applying, because in my experience, the first few months in Japan is not, your scholarship is not, you won't accept your scholarship on time. So we need at least 100,000 pesos as a start. But it will be, but your scholarship will be reimbursed, kind of. Yeah, but there are also other universities. I mean, true, if you're going to university recommendation that don't have fees, like for example, I heard Hokkaido University doesn't have application fees, and things are done online. Everything right now are done online. So maybe that's a good choice if you don't have 15,000 to spend those things. Yeah, so if you're going through university, better check the university website to make sure whether you need to pay anything or what. Yeah, but for embassy recommendation is just a medical. Yeah, just a medical for the documents.
Yeah, so those are your questions so far that we can answer. So thank you guys for watching. We have more videos about MEXT scholarship, of course, and we'll be staying in Japan for quite so long, so we'll be making more and more videos about it.
So if you have any other questions or comments, you can leave it in the comment.
Yeah, in the comment section below. And with that, we'll see you in our next video. I'm JA.
I'm Hazel.